Hi, everyone. Again, welcome to today's webinar about unleashing the power of storytelling, hosted in partnership with the PepsiCo Foundation's Impacto Hispanic Restaurant Accelerator. First, I'm excited to introduce Bricia Lopez. Bricia is an LA-based entrepreneur, acclaimed author, and chef.
So happy to be here. Good morning, everybody.
And next, I'm excited to introduce Roberto Martinez. Roberto is the founder and CEO of Braven Agency, a digital marketing agency that he created to respond to the challenges that communities of color face with regards to technological advances.
Very excited to talk a little bit about branding and helping us humanize the brand for all entrepreneurs in this webinar. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Bricia, I'd love to start with you. Could you please share some examples of how you approach storytelling in your own business's marketing and branding strategy?
Nowadays, what I've realized is that customers connect with the founder more than with the brand, especially when you're a smaller brand, a new brand. People want to know who's behind it, the struggles behind the business, everything about it. Like, where does it come from? And everybody has a story. And I think knowing your story and knowing what you bring to why you're doing it, the reason why you went into business is probably to solve a problem, is probably to fulfill some sort of need that you needed yourself. So sharing that with your audience is very powerful, but also very important. The way I use it right now, obviously, is through social media. If you look at my personal Instagram, you will see that I have many collaborations with my brands, both my restaurant, my micheladas, and my siblings. So the way that we've done our strategy is basically story first with my siblings. I run the restaurant with my sister and my brother. So if you look at my sister's Instagram, my brother's Instagram, and mine, they're all very much the same, where we keep the same tone and the same messages across. That revolves around family, culture, and community, and tie those in with commerce. And the commerce part is through our businesses. We do a lot of collaborations through Instagram. We cross promote all our videos on TikTok, and we've seen exponential growth in our brand since we've done that strategy. Founder stories are always the top performer videos that we have. Anytime we have videos that where either me, my brother, or my sister speak on the brand or speak on why we started it or things that are happening with the brand, those videos always perform best, because no one will be able to tell your story better than you will, because it's your baby.
When it comes to your brand, it's an origin story. What is your origin? Where did you come from? Want to connect with your audience in a very visceral way. Bricia said it perfectly well. When you talk about your own brand, you want to bring them into your journey. You want to have them opt in, if you will. And the way you do that is providing meaning and value to whatever activity you're doing. So for your own brand, it's an extension of who you are. And especially when you're starting off, you don't have the millions or billions of dollars to really invest into bombarding the airways, bombarding the TV and the radio. So you really have to create that personalized experience for your consumer to say, hey, I identify with this owner, I trust this owner, and I want to be part of their journey. And the way you do that is by quote unquote humanizing the brand, or else bringing yourself into that conversation, into their living rooms, into their social media sites, so that they can feel that they know you and they trust you, because that's really what it is. You are providing that trust because they don't know your brand. They don't understand what your brand symbolizes or represents. And the way you help them understand that is by saying, hey, my name is Roberto Martinez, you can trust me. And the more touch points, it's a marketing term, but the more you actually reach out and communicate who you are, why you're going to help them, and why you started this journey, the higher trust you have. And then you communicate that trust through your social media channels. The communication is the channels, right? The tactical approach of social media, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it happens to be. But it all starts with, why did I start this journey? And I'm going to be vulnerable and show you why I started this journey. Hopefully you trust me by my exposure of who I am and why I started this journey. And if you do, we can go along in this journey together.
Trust is built on your own truth. So the worst thing you can do is lie to anyone about who you are or what you do, right? Or try to be someone else. You can't not be anyone else. You can only be yourself. And I know that sounds like an Instagram post and people hear that all the time and it's like, okay, but how? I think that number one is just you cannot build trust on lies, and you have to speak your truth. So if you are selling, I don't know, lip gloss, right? But like you don't use it and you're just doing it because you want to make money or because you found a niche, but you're not passionate about lip gloss, it's okay. You can say that and no one's going to not buy your brand for it. You're just going to connect with someone in a different way because you're speaking your truth. People are going to say, wow, this woman like never cared about lip gloss and now look at her, like she's doing it and like she's killing it and I love this lip gloss and like how is it working? So don't think you have to be someone for anyone. Like your truth is very, very powerful. So again, I think it's just about living your truth and like not faking the funk, because eventually everyone's going to catch on to this girl hates her lip gloss. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so storytelling. Bricia, I love to start with you on this one. Why is it so important to business and marketing success?
It's the way that you can connect with your audience, is the way that you can find people who are like you, like-minded. And also, you know, when you go into business, you have to know who you're targeting, right? The best advice I got was find a niche, whether that's your hometown or somewhere else. Find a group of people that can feel very, very passionate about your brand or what you're selling. Once you are able to secure those people and they're your fans and you can like do your hardcore fan, then you're able to expand. But you can't catch a big net and like try to figure out who you're trying to sell. Like you have to really narrow down on who your customer is, what they like to eat, what they dress, what music do they listen to, what drink do they drink? Do they drink Pepsi? You know, like what snacks are they eating? Who are those people that you're trying to reach? Who is buying your stuff? Because then you can then narrow down how you can connect with them and what part of you will connect with them. For me, we already know what those are. Very different from Galaguetza than I Love Micheladas. Very different customer base. And they're both part of me. They're both my stories and they're both what I like to do. And I'm selling to both parts of myself, but I have to know who they are in order to then know how to speak to them, right? I'm not going to speak to a 55-year-old tia, right? The same way I'm going to speak to a 27-year-old girl who's about to go to the club or about to go to a concert. Like it's two different. It's still me though. I can still be a 55-year-old tia because inside that's who I am. But I can also be a 23-year-old girl trying to go to a concert and like sneaking my michelada bottle. You know what I mean? So like I can do both, but I can't speak to them the same. And I think knowing how you speak to them is really important, because then you can then figure out what story to tell.
It's something I would call it primordial, and it's something that we can connect to. So having that story makes it shorthand. People don't remember facts and figures. People remember like the beginning, the middle, and the end, and you tell this collective story. And so it's extremely important for you as a company, as a brand, to really understand and hone in on what is your story, so that when the prospective customer connects with you, in touch with you, they get it right away. They don't have to think about it. And you can change that story as you develop and you grow, but you should definitely have that down there. It's not even the 30-second elevator pitch. It's like, why do I exist? What is the value I'm providing to the marketplace? And that's extremely important to really hone in on what is it? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? A lot of people say, I want to make money. I get it. We all want to make money, but it has to be more than just money. There has to be a cause. What is the solution you're providing to the marketplace? And what led you to want to live in that space? Because that's really what's going to pull you through as your own business owner as you're getting started, of why you're putting these 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week. And then people are going to connect to that story and say, you know what, they're living their truth. I see them everywhere. They're working really hard. I want to self-select. I think Bricia brought up a great point about segmentation of the marketplace and finding your champions. Unfortunately, I went to school for this, and they talk about, these stakeholder analysis, and there's 4 different boxes and you have to identify it. But at the long and the short of it is, tell your story, see who resonates with that story. Those are your champions. Those are the people that are going to opt in and say, hey, I believe in the mission of Bricia. I believe in what she represents. I will follow her no matter what, and I love her. So that's your small core focus group that's really going to help you understand and be the foundation of your brand, of your company. And then they're going to give you the insights that you need to understand how to position yourself for the rest of the market. So they're going to tell you why I like you, what is it about your service or your product that I enjoy? Why am I so passionate about your product or your service? And then you take those quote unquote insights and then you communicate it across your social media and your messaging channels, using those insights, using those thought processes. And that's really going to help you. And the way you do it is not by just telling them numbers, but by telling that story and connecting to that story to those segments of your population.
So it's not about hi everyone, this is my special for today. It's more of eating your food in the morning and being oh, I remember this dish brings back so much memories. I ate it when I was a little girl and I'm so happy we're in the menu. And yesterday my mom came. So it's more about the story and not so much of, hey everyone, please buy this. So that's just one concrete example of how we do it. But we are always we are always storytelling. We are always sharing this because again, people connect with people. And right now, there's so many brands right now. I always call them Instagram brands. The ones that they just get you, man. I don't know how. They're do I really need that pillow for my neck? Do I? Maybe. I know nothing about the founder. I mean, those work too. Maybe I need to learn more about those sort of things, but I don't think those are going to be legacy brands. I don't think the pillow brand's going to be here for the next 20 years, right? These are just in the moment. And that's not what I want to build. I want to build something that lasts. But there's so many Instagram brands right now that it's hard to get through the noise. And the only way you're going to do that is by sharing a story. But even those brands though, they'll be my neck was hurting and yesterday I was doing this and that. And you're wait, what happened to your neck? You're oh my God. And then what happened? Me too. And then you're oh, maybe I need it. Buy, shop now.
The story is important. How you communicate that story is important. As you're developing out an understanding of what you represent, I'm a big believer in going back to your value proposition when you're creating the stories and where you feel that you fit in the marketplace. What is my niche? What is my lane? And there's certain brands or certain companies that are starting up that they are really focused on the happy, exciting, playful. And so the type of content you're going to build out is exciting, happy, playful versus, let's say you're an accountant or you're a financial advisor or you're a bank, an accountant, let's say, or financial advisor. It's a little bit more buttoned down. So the way you're communicating that story is going to be different than when you're selling a pillow. And so really honing in on that and creating really fun content. I always think that you educate and you delight, right? How do we educate and delight at the same time? We're not selling, we're informing and we're delighting our audience in whatever shape, way, or form we can so that they could trust us.
Thank you to the PepsiCo Foundation and our local partners for the Impacto Hispanic Business Accelerator. And just thank you to all the entrepreneurs who took time out of your day. We hope this was really helpful and we can't wait to see your business thrive.